Hi everyone, it's Hayley here from Cosy Owl, and tonight we're going live with Abby from Make Sense Candles, and we're talking all about autumn and winter fragrance oil trends for this year. So we're just waiting for Abby to join now, and then we'll go live. Hello! We've got quite a few fragrance oils to test and try. Hello! So we can't wait to go through them and have a little discussion. It'd be great to know what kind of autumn winter fragrance oils you're going for this year. Anything festive or autumnal. We'd love to know, so definitely pop them in the comments.
Hello.
Hello.
Let me turn my volume up. Okay.
Hi
everyone. I'm good, thank you. I'm really well. I've had a whole day of candle making. Well, candling. I don't know what the word is.
Good.
So it's been really nice. I am well, I could say unemployed or between jobs. I've got a little gap before I start my next one, so I thought instead of going away, I would take the opportunity to make candles and do bits like that. So yeah, it's been really nice.
Lots of people have been candle making, I've noticed recently. We put a poll up on our stories about a week ago. Everyone is candle making, and it's definitely autumn winter related, so it's really good that we're doing this live tonight. So
yeah, definitely. I've really enjoyed today, like going through all of the fragrance oils that have been in storage like since last year that are autumn winter themed, and getting them out and having a little reminder of what they're like, and it's so good. But I'm really intrigued tonight to hear your favourites as well. How's everything been at Cosy Owl? Are lots of people ordering everything for Christmas already?
yes, it has gone Christmas mad at the moment. Yeah, we've got a lot of our Christmas favourites, which we've recently stocked up on. So things like winter pine, winter spruce, Christmas spice. So a lot of the classics. But tonight we'll be covering a few more that are a little bit different and sort of related more to themes. So you can sort of relate the theme to maybe your business, and what kind of look you want to go for. But yes, it has been Christmas mad, and I can't believe I'm saying that because it's boiling hot out there today.
Yeah.
Here, so but we have got to prepare early, and you know, fragrance oils are very important when it comes to candle or wax melt, diffuser, cosmetic making. So yeah, it's definitely a good one to cover. So if any of you guys that are watching, if you have any fragrance oils that are your favourite for this time of the year, definitely drop them in the comments, and we'd love to know.
Yeah, definitely. Right, shall we get started and talk about our first trend?
Yes, let's go.
This one, I've been doing little setups today and taking photos inspired by this trend, so that hopefully this week I can share a couple of different things, because I think a lot of these trends are very much interior and focused, as well as like having fragrance oils and colours and everything like that that can give a nod to it. The way you set up your photos can equally bring that in without you having to change any products at all. You might just decide to like rename something if you love one of the fragrance oils that we're going to talk about this evening already, so you might just want to reprint a label or something like that and do a different kind of setup. So yeah, what have I got out? I've got various props out. So I've got like wooden platforms. I use these brilliant, like, I think they're called flower frogs, different spikes.
Yes, I love those. I've seen them in your photos.
Yeah, I quite like leaving them in. Some people like edit them out really carefully, but the idea with those is that you take a bit more of a delicate flower than this foliage I can reach, and you basically put it in the bottom, and then it stands up in your pictures. So you can use that for kind of like a minimal photo shoot or something more cottagey. So that's what I've been doing today. And in terms of like products that I would use for this, I love like the normal Karen glasses and the 30cl. These just work really well, I think, for this kind of vibe. They're so versatile, and I've used these again for other trends that we're going to talk about. And it's the scent for this one that has made the difference. So this one I've gone for blackberry and bay. But I also love pumpkin spice, which I'm sure is everyone's favourite. And this kind of trend is very much like traditional autumn to me. I don't know, Hayley, what do you think this trend is like summarises to you
Yeah.
or signifies?
So yeah, Cottage Core is very much quite very cozy, very like cutesy as well. A lot of like sort of luxurious scents too, I think. I've actually gone for cinnamon vanilla for this one because I think the spices, quite like subtle vanilla based sort of fragrance oils work really well as well. I've actually got the cinnamon vanilla here, the little 10 ml bottle. I thought I'd do a little like smell on camera. I know you can't smell it through the camera, but sort of a more of a reaction. I know I do use a lot of these day in, day out, but a lot of the autumn winter fragrances I've only just recently started getting out. We'll try and leave it a little bit later to try and get into the mood of them. But this one, oh, it's so nice. This is one of my favourites, I think.
I haven't tried this one, so I'm kind of hanging on your every word.
Yeah, I've written down a few notes actually for each of the fragrance oils that I've sort of chosen, and this one I would say is very cozy, warm, creamy, sweet, and very Christmassy. I think it's very festive. It is the kind of scent that I would have all year round because I'm a very like cinnamon, pumpkin spice. I love all those sort of all year round. I know some of you may agree with me, may not, that are watching, but yeah, that's why it's one of my favourites. It's got top notes of blood orange, citrus, crystallised sugar, mid notes of cinnamon stick, clove bud, and the base notes are creamy nutmeg and vanilla bean. And that really does sum it up. It actually does smell like everything I've just said there. And I think for this scent I would go for a candle. I think candles in this scent are lovely. It's important to say as well that quite a lot of the time when you smell them in the bottle, they don't smell the same as when they're in wax. They are sort of more diluted, so you get that more creaminess smell rather than a quick sort of whiff in the bottle straight up your nose sort of thing. And yeah, I've written down that I'd go for a classic jar with a lid because I think that's very like a cutesy style, and also you can reuse the container like most of them, but you've got like that lid on top as well, so it's sort of sealable, so you can then reuse that for home storage or whatever you want to use it for.
Yeah, definitely. That trend's very like floral, kind of kitsch. I'd say like grandma's living room vibe,
Yes,
but in quite a cool way. I've seen a lot of people on Instagram doing it in kind of like, you know, cutouts of pages of books to style it and teacups and things like that.
Vintagey style.
Yeah, definitely. It's cooler than grandma, but that's kind of like my first thought with it, basically. Yeah, really nice. And colour-wise, dye-wise, I'd probably go for like dusky roses, greens, not pastels because we're moving into like autumn, but more sort of like mustards and kind of, I guess, a bit like harvest fruits, but not kind of too deep because I think there's a few other trends that would suit that kind of jewel tones better.
Yeah, it's sort of like subtle fruitiness, I think. Sort of the start off, very sort of subtle hints of spices and fruit, I think, work really well for it, especially for this time of the year.
And if you were going to do something like wax melts, maybe that's your thing, I'd maybe suggest doing like dustings of mica powder in like the bronzes. So you've got that kind of nod to kind of autumn leaves, but also that kind of pumpkin spice latte like drizzle, that kind of powder effect. I'd maybe experiment with that with the mica powder there with wax melts. What else did I find out about? Yeah, I can't be swayed from pumpkin spice. I love it. It's so good. As I know it's so popular with everyone. It like sells out all the time. So, but that's why we go for apple and cinnamon. Yes, I've got this written down as well. And one that I thought about today that's quite similar and people might compare the two was hot apple pie. This one is much more juicy. So if you're looking for something that's maybe much more like harvest time, apple orchard kind of vibe, depending on what your brand is, it's more sort of citrusy, I would say, like more zingy. And then your apple and cinnamon's much more sort of not going towards festive, I would say, with the cinnamon and undertone. I haven't got very much of that one left. There we go.
I do like that one. It's another spice one, so this is, yeah, it's perfect for this sort of trend.
Right, Natural Tranquility. I found these two trends the easiest to get my head around, in terms of like my brand and how I might apply my brand to it, because I'm all about upcycling and flowers and floral scents. So that was where the Cottage Core came in. And then my nod to kind of Natural Tranquility, but I was thinking about botanicals in wax melts, and kind of, I actually started thinking about colours, and I think it's because you did a brilliant thing of putting together a mood board before this live. And I think if anyone's sort of thinking about how they might approach trends, I would absolutely steal your idea and create a mood board, depending on how you sort of, how your brain works in terms of visualizing things. I just thought that was amazing. It was so inspiring, and I knew exactly what we were trying to get from that. So thinking about browns, creams, whites, I thought it's also quite similar if you've got like quite a coastal brand or a brand based by the sea, so you use a lot of your local heritage, maybe driftwood and things like that. This one is your way into autumn, because you can still have wintry cold coastal walks. People go swimming on Boxing Day and all sorts of more adventurous things than me. And this is a really nice shift. So Natural Tranquility is much more about natural elements, woods, and yeah, I see it very, very similar to coastal, really. I don't know if you thought that a similar thing, Hayley, at all.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like your interpretation of it as well. And yeah, I think coastal is perfect. Coastal, I definitely think of walks, sort of more sort of autumn winter walks with the leaves, crunchy leaves around. So
Like
yeah,
that
natural
hidden trend
tones.
as well,
Yeah,
like cozy, yeah.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah, and I think, yeah, that is a trend that I do really like. It is a trend that's been in for ages. So if you are more that natural look for your business, then this is perfect. You can sort of get your foot into the trend without going too over festive, if that is possible.
There's a really good candle account that I don't know them at all, but their feed is always beautiful and they are bang on this trend. I think you guys follow them, but it's Boho and Glow.
Yes.
They are very, very minimal. All their colours are kind of like an array of coffee colours, basically. But their aesthetic is this trend through and through. So have a look at them afterwards. But I would say my go-to for this would be not using cotton wicks, but using wooden wicks. So that kind of crackle effect. I don't really like it unless it's for an outdoor candle earlier on in the year. But as soon as you get to autumn and winter, it kind of encapsulates it for me, like with that crackle effect. So I would definitely like switch things up and try testing and have a wooden wick in there as well. Is there anything that you'd kind of go for in terms of soaps or wax melts, Hayley, for this trend?
Yeah, Natural Tranquility, you can really experiment quite a lot with, especially with soaps, like using natural products like oats or honey in your soaps, or even certain like sugars you can add to it, so you can really sort of get that exfoliation. There's quite a lot of different things that you can add to the soap. I definitely recommend, if you're using fragrance oil or essential oil with soap, to have a look at the IFRA document, which is available under our data sheet. So it can tell you exactly how much to add into your soap. But a lot of our fragrance oils, you can add a fair amount to our soaps. So yeah, I definitely go along those lines and use sort of like natural tones, maybe even like golds. You can really get a nice kind of colour with using a very small amount of gold mica powder or bronze as well. I've had a really good one that I did last year. I made sort of some rectangular soaps, and it was with the white goat's milk soap base. And I poured that in one side whilst pouring a bit of bronze in the other side, and as they like met, they created like a marble effect, and it really worked well, very natural looking, and I think that is perfect for this trend.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. When I've tried to mix soaps before, just because it's a different consistency and I'm not that experienced with soaps, to be fair, I think I would just lower the temperature so it doesn't take as long to set, because then you'll still get that marble effect. Otherwise it all kind of mixes together, and by the time it's set, it's all one colour. So that's what I would say, just have a look at lowering temperatures there. for anyone to give that a go. I think this is a perfect time as well to talk about like gift sets and craft sets too, because I tried the soap making kit for the first time last year, and I did that because we were transitioning more towards Christmas. I loved trying different crafts then that are not kind of going to be a business or a side hustle. So it's a nice idea to try now. Then you've got different gifts as well for the festive season. I've got a few molds here as well that were in the kits actually. And I think these still work really well for this natural trend, because these are really clean shapes. So you can, if you've got like light colours there or mixes with touches of metallic, like Hayley was saying, we've still got some metallic in there. You can get really nice clean shapes and scents. And I think it's a bit like seeing foods in particular colours. It's satisfying to see the shape of something or the colour of something that matches the scent as well. Just the last thing I was going to say on Natural Tranquility was I've actually got an essential oil here, cedarwood. I've got this because I've experimented with beard oils as well from Cosy Owl site, so from my other half, so I was doing that. So this is so like it's very much like wood smoke and very rich. I'm so bad at describing things, I've just realised, in terms of scent. Very woody, which, shock, it's called cedarwood. But this trend, I feel, is just all about woods. I mean, there are quite a few that I've never tried before, Hayley, that I think you use a lot. Sandalwood and vanilla, or teak wood.
Sandalwood and vanilla, one of my absolute favourites at the moment. That one I've actually made recently in loads of wax melts, and everyone in the office was like, what have you used there? Because over time we've got over 100 fragrance oils, so over the time when I'm making different things, not every 100 ones that we've got I make. So everyone was like, what was that? And I'm like, it's sandalwood vanilla, it's amazing. So yeah, it's definitely one of our favorites at the moment. That is a beautiful scent. It's quite subtle, it's not too much. But yeah, it's got a very woody base, but very creamy. You've got sort of sweet against like a contrasting scent, and that together it really works well. Baltic amber and clove is a recent favourite of mine.
I've never heard of this one, so I'm quite intrigued by it.
It's very soft. It's a very soft smell. It's velvety. It's got the woodiness in it as well. It's slightly sweet, and I say it's, where have I got it? I've got it here somewhere. Yeah, I'll just give it a quick whiff as well. Yeah, it's actually a beautiful scent. Not many people know about this one, and I think definitely if you're thinking about trying a new fragrance oil for your business, then definitely get hold of the 10ml bottles, because then you can test it out, see what you think. But it is actually one of our favourites. We've got quite a few reviews actually. If you are wondering what kind of fragrance oils to look at and you're looking for all of ours online, then definitely have a look at our reviews on there, because you can see genuine opinions of our customers as well. And I had a little look back today just to see what they'd written, and yeah, they generally said it was a lovely soft scent. So if you're not looking for something too overpowering, but definitely a nod to the Natural Tranquility trend, just about saying that, then this is definitely one I think you should try. Yeah, it is, I know I say this about a lot of the scents, but it is one of my favourites. Definitely for this trend.
Yeah, we've got one of your other favourites. It might not be favourite of the month, but I've got it written down to talk about in a bit. I think, yeah, moving this trend in, so say you're like the other candle brands that I mentioned that are very much wooden, minimal aesthetic, nude home, that kind of vibe. Then introducing scents that are sort of more evocative of fir trees, woodland walks, like your spruce. That's how you could transition that same trend into more Christmas time. But I think something I do with my brand is keep my autumn winter scents quite versatile. I tend to not put the word Christmas on anything, because I feel like that just gives me a very short window. Whereas people will be choosing these scents to gift people, so potentially if you're seeing them in between Christmas and New Year, maybe they don't want something out on the side that says the word Christmas when they're starting to maybe step away from that. So it's just something that's more wintry. So I would change the name of things, basically, which we've talked about before on lives, that you can absolutely do as long as you've got your CLP describing everything that's in your wax or other products that we've talked about. Then you can change the name and be creative with that one.
Definitely. And I'll definitely make use of the scent notes. Under each of our fragrance oils, we've got a scent note little tab where you can see the top, mid and base notes. I'll definitely make use of those. Like if you're wondering what to add in your description on your website, then definitely use those, and then you can sort of explain exactly what the scent is like, because at the end of the day, if it's not at a craft show or somewhere that's in person to sort of for customers to smell your products, then sort of explaining it through each individual note that's in that fragrance oil really does help.
They're really great for me if I'm struggling to think about how I might present something for a product photo or a lifestyle shot. I go and look at those scent notes, and then where something might have notes of peach in or apple or something like that, I then try and find that product, that fruit or that whatever it is, natural material, and include that in the photo as well. So I just try and have a nod to it to kind of explain through the photo, I guess, what the smell is as well.
That's a great idea.
That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Basically use all your hard work and paperwork.
It's there to use.
Yeah. Right, Modern Deco. This I found the most challenging trend to get my head around, because maybe because it's not my style with the brand, and or maybe because that's not my kind of interiors at the moment. But the more you sort of think about it, it's really glam. It bodes really well for when you get towards Christmas party season. And I think if you've got like one of those glass and gold kind of little bars at home and kind of those kind of features, or you've got martini glasses you can use as props, or mirrors and things like that, this is a really beautiful trend when done with kind of jewel colours, teals, like peacock vibe I kind of got with it. So it's like Gatsby but a modern twist, basically, on that roaring 20s with metallics and things like that coming through. So it's really cool for wax melts, being really creative there, and just remembering that with candles, don't add any botanicals or mica or anything like that to that, because they can clog the wicks, but you can be as creative as you like with wax melts. So this is where this trend is really cool, for the kind of dark colours.
Definitely.
What did you think about it, Hayley?
So yeah, this, I think it's a very what it reminds me of at the moment, there's quite a big trend for dark walls, very like opulent kind of decor, pops of colour against like dark blues and deep greens. So yeah, we wanted to try and make this trend all about matching that. So we're trying to think of like fragrance oils that have sort of a luxurious, maybe more perfumed fragrance to them. So yeah, this trend is kind of an overall very different, I think. So if you're looking at sort of, if your business is more aimed at that kind of trend, you might have more colourful accents in your creations, then this is perfect. And again, for that kind of marbled look with wax melts, adding more colours inside as well. You could even do sort of, I don't know if you've seen maybe on our YouTube channel, we've got a melting hearts kind of tutorial, which is heart-shaped wax melts that once they're put on the burner, it releases a colour. And I think things like that would be really nice for this trend, or hidden bits of glitter inside, something like that. So it is quite luxurious. For this one, I've gone with two fragrance oils that are sort of my top favourite, and they're very sort of fruity. Black cherry, which is a very deep fragrance oil, I should say, and this is perfect for soap. I've written down shampoo bars, which I think would be amazing in this scent. It kind of reminds me of my childhood, of the L'Oreal No Tears shampoo. That's what it reminds me of. it smells absolutely amazing. I've got a little bottle of it here. Yeah, it's very pure. It smells like the real deal of cherries. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a fake cherry smell. It is as if I've got cherries sort of in front of me. It's very fresh, clean, fruity, and very like bakewell tarts kind of smell when it's in a wax, I would say. Yeah, love that one. That is very sort of strong scent. If you're looking for something with a strong hot and cold throw, definitely go with black cherry. And the other one I've got written down is Bays, which is a bit more of a perfumed scent, I would say. Yeah, it's got a very creamy perfume scent, another strong one as well. So if you're looking for a stronger scent, Bays is great. Very luxurious, and it's got.
Would you say it's like fruit kind of comparison? Is it more blackcurranty or?
So Bays is, yeah, more blackcurrant. It's got a bit of citrus in there, and it's mixed with fir needle and musk as well.
Okay.
So it has got that. Yeah, it's got a lot of depth actually. Yeah, it's got a lot of combinations, so it's not just one individual. Like black cherry is more the definition of cherry, whereas the Bays is a bit more sort of mixed. You come up with quite a few different names for this one, I think. Very nice autumnal one. I've written down here.
Sorry to jump in, Hayley. I would say even thinking about something like black cherry or even Bays as something maybe mystical or a bit unusual for Halloween, because I don't want to kind of skirt across Halloween, because you want maybe something a bit unusual, like with peppery and rich undertones there. That would be quite cool, I think.
Yeah, lovely, really, really nice. And I'd pair them with sort of like rust orange, deep purples, khaki green, and a bright pink would be great as well. That's definitely a nod to all of the description of this trend, really.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I would just say when you're using lots of dyes, Hayley's brilliant at mixing dyes, and I need to become more adventurous with this. I kind of just look at what's on the packet and try and do that and not add too much, because little is you can always add but you can't take away, basically, like food colouring. But yeah, Hayley mixes the colours together like a regular paint, which is really, really cool to get unique colours there. But then the only tip I would say when you're making wax products is just to be mindful of the temperatures and the temperatures that you're also storing at, because that's where you can get frosting. You can get frosting if you're using soy candle wax anyway. It's just how soy works, basically, and it won't affect the burn of your candle. Or wax melt or anything like that, but it may show up a little bit more if you've got really dark colours. So maybe make things a bit closer to the time or made to order or something like that, and just where you know you can control the temperatures. Right now the temperature is great, as we've talked about before as well, like being warmer and everything, but yeah, as soon as it's getting into the colder months, you might have to retest if you start making your products now, actually, because once you get into November, December, your external factors, like when you're making, may change. So I would also say it's a good reminder to retest, I would say, through the seasons too.
Definitely.
Pomegranate Noir I had written down for this one as well, and Blackberry and Bay that I showed earlier. Blackberry and Bay is part of my main collection just because I love it throughout the whole year, but particularly this sort of time of year it comes alive with harvest time, blackberry picking. I tried to do a bit of blackberry picking today while I was getting everything set up for the photo shoot, and I prickled myself so many times on brambles that I was just like, we're just gonna have one and that will be it. And this so be careful. But Pomegranate Noir is more so than the perfumed ones. It's more of a sweet version of it. So I've called it pomegranate and sweet raspberry. Again, I looked at the scent notes for that, so it's good to try those 10ml testers, and they're enough to make a sort of 100ml candle, or a little bit more, so they're a good way of testing. Plum and mulberry I had written down, which is one of your favourites for that one.
That is mine and Stacey's favourite fragrance oil. That is definitely an all round, all year scent, that is. You've definitely got to try it if you haven't tried it before, because yeah, it is one of the loveliest scents, very creamy as well. Perfect for the harvest season, goes with this modern deco trend like perfectly.
And what people might, I was thinking about, how would you decide what fragrances, apart from what we've been talking about tonight, how would you decide which ones to go for? And I'd go back to your comment earlier that you made, Hayley, about the IFRA document. If you're someone who's thinking about gifts and maybe you make a variety of products, so maybe diffusers, candles and soaps or something like that, and you're thinking about gift sets or hampers, I mean, have a look at those IFRA documents and see if these fragrance oils can translate into diffusers and soaps and everything like that, especially with different changes around regulation. So, but I think otherwise, if you can pick ones like what we've done tonight, grouping different ones we love that work well together and complement each other, then you can do bundles and different gift boxes in that way. And people love a story. So, and your advice in terms of scents working together. So I would say, you know, if people want to elevate their space or create different complementary scents as they walk through different rooms, so everything still feels like a fresh hit of fragrance, try pairing them up and see how your customers respond with that.
Definitely.
Okay, the big C word. I'm ready.
Been avoiding it. This one I've named on purpose Festive Family Favourites, so it's not too much of the C word.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is a lovely one, and I was trying to think of alternatives to the just general classics. I know the general classics are very popular and they're very big sellouts. But yeah, I'll be interested to know what one you picked for this trend.
Where did I write this down? That is the question. Oh yeah, here, right. I don't think I've tried Snowflake, and I'm quite intrigued by this one. So I wanted to more pick your brains about that one, because I've tried Candy Cane, and I really love that. Just as sort of, if someone likes clean scents and kind of fresh laundry the rest of the year, Candy Cane is like peppermint smell. It's like slightly sweet, but not too sweet. And I would say if you like clean scents, you'll like Candy Cane, and that can be a good way into sort of Christmas without too much cinnamon. Like there's no cinnamon in it, but if you don't like that, basically I would go for that one. Yeah, so I love that. But I just wanted to pick your brain about what Snowflake like.
Yeah, so Snowflake, a lot of people do ask about Snowflake because what do snowflakes smell like? And if I take you guys through the top and mid and base notes, you get more of an idea of exactly what's involved in the scent. So the top notes are floral bouquet, which I know is very different, herbaceous mint, citrus, and then we've got mid-tones of green apple, soft jasmine, rose petal, and then base notes of wood smoke and musk. So the idea of this one, I think, when I smell it, is it's very reminiscent. It reminds me of winter walks, the freshness as you go out the door on like a Christmas day, the sort of fresh air that hits you, maybe after it's been snowing or just that cool spell over the Christmas period. It's quite masculine scent, I would say. It's got quite a masculine sort of tone. It's very slightly minty. Very fresh, and I've written down here winter air. I think that describes exactly what it is. I've got a bottle of it here as well, and you can very slightly smell the floral tone in it too. Yeah, it's a lovely scent, lovely, and a bit citrusy as well. So it kind of is a nod to like a few of the scents that you would smell outside, I think, in the winter, but also with the citrus and the floral, sort of what you would have like on table arrangements, maybe like potpourri kind of sort of idea of it. So yeah, it's a lovely scent, and it's definitely a good alternative if, like you say, you don't want sort of a spice tone. This is complete opposite, much more fresher.
I love winter pine, which I imagine is one of the favourites, but I wondered what winter spruce was like, because I also would say people who use like essential oils might want to use something like eucalyptus, because that can be very festive smelling as well. But yeah, I wondered what winter spruce was. I've just taken over the live. I'm just picking your brain now.
No, winter spruce is a very natural one as well. It's sort of a spin-off of winter pine. So it's got a few of those spices there. It's got a more sort of outdoor smell again as well, very like fresh smelling. But yeah, it is a bit more of an alternative. So winter pine is very, very based off of the pine. Whereas winter spruce has a bit more of a mixture in it. I have to get up some of the notes on my phone because I would like to just explain a little bit more exactly what's in it.
Sure.
But yeah, it is a lovely scent, and yeah, definitely another one that not many people know about. Let me just get them up. So
while you're looking, oh, go on. You found it quicker than I thought you would.
Sorry, it came up so quickly.
No, it's good. It's great.
So the top notes are sweet winter pine tree. So you have got that pine, but then you've got a mix of sparkling citrus, floral notes, and then you've got vanilla and patchouli, which is a bit more of a twist on it. So yeah, another lovely scent, and yeah, it does remind me more of, rather than just normal winter pine, a mix of sort of winter pine with the snow, people playing outside. It's got a very reminiscent kind of scent to it, which I love. I love the connection to like memories. You've got a certain scent nostalgia, that nostalgia, definitely. And I think that's really important over, especially into the festive months. It's all about those scents that remind you of things, are joyful, or memories of playing outside in the snow, having snowball fights, things like that. So
and telling your customers those stories, like, is another way to help sell scents over online, basically, and not in person. So yeah, capture those emotions, capture those memories, and bring that to the sort of forefront of people's minds. The only thing I would also say is, like, you have loads of guides from like last season in terms of autumn winter last year. Leaf molds I would get out as well. The honeycomb, not for, maybe for gifts for festive, but I was just thinking generally for autumn winter I would have a look at the different molds. These if they were styled with like florals and maybe like raw honey and things like that, they'd look really nice with the cottage core trends too. Gorgeous. Wax tablets, they're also on the Cosy Owl site, so you can hang these in wardrobes and scent with whatever fragrance you like. Very similar way of making it to a wax melt. You just add more beeswax, if you're happy to use beeswax, just as a hardening agent with pillar wax. And you could put things like pressed flowers in there, fern leaves, so you could either do more of a rustic feel with a Natural Tranquility, or you could go for any of them really. I think it's a good way to be creative with tablets or melts using any of these trends, and you can do them from limited edition run, so then you're not kind of wedded to that trend when that trend moves on to something else. So yeah, I'm inspired this evening chatting to you and thinking about all these new fragrances to try.
Yeah, you just mentioned about the tablets there. I remember going to a Christmas fete last year and seeing lots of the wax tablets with cinnamon sticks and pine cones and all sorts of foraged items in them, all hanging around the edge of their display. And I thought it was lovely because as soon as you walked up to the display, you just smelt that instantly. Even if actually someone walked past you and you were a bit of a distance, you could smell them straight away. And it really does draw you in, seeing all of the natural items sort of added into the wax tablets, and that is instantly what drew me straight over. I'm a big fan of candles and everything anyway, so I had to go and have a look, but that instantly drew me over to the stand. So that's another thing, if you are doing Christmas markets, you can really incorporate all of these trends into your display as well, to sort of capture people's instant reactions to what you're selling on your stand.
Yeah, because we talked about some of the berry fragrances that would work for this, but there's also mulled wine, and that's in one of the kits if you're looking to try something new as well. I remember that being in one of the workshops we did actually, so that was one of the fragrances. So definitely like have a bit of an experiment. The 10ml fragrance oils are really, really good for that. Yeah, definitely. I'm really keen to see, because this will be on Cosy Owl's profile so anyone can look back on it. I'm really keen to see if anyone comments on what they're making, what's really popular with their customers as well, when I check back in on that. So,
Definitely let us know.
It's been great, Hayley. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And if anyone has any questions at all, feel free just to give us a message or an email, and we'll definitely answer your questions for you. And thank you very much for joining us, Abby.
No worries. And as I said, you inspired me anyway, and I'm going to edit some photos and put them up of Cottage Core.
I can't wait to see.
Tag you in them. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much, as always.
See you later. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.